This is where I have a problem. Every excuse I've heard from you guys is that you're scared of being sued. John Kopicki, superintendent, supposed to be here for the safety of our kids. You compared, and I quote, the safety of our girls to a stoplight. That the stoplight's there, we might not want it, but you just have to deal with it. That is not what a man of your caliber is supposed to say when it comes to our kids.
That's dumb.
Shannon, why won't you stand up? I know the facts. It's money. Catherine, you have a daughter. What are you going to do when a man walks in there with her? What are you going to do? Sam, all you do is sit there like this. You don't care. Kopicki, I swear the things off record that you say and then come on camera, it's like you got a further agenda for a job application. That's exactly how yours looks like it's playing out. Rob, I took up for you in front of millions of people saying you were up there for the right purposes. Stand up. Don't be a coward. Who gives a crap if you're sued? You don't think I worry about it? Is money more important than the kids? Is it? Greg, I told you outside. This is where you stand up, you show your true character. You gonna stand up and say you want the safety for these girls? Because I'm getting you real fast. Pam, you have 2 daughters. You want to sit there and tuck your head behind the desk like you always do. It's never your problem. It's always somebody else's problem. Melanie, dear God, I know your beliefs. And I'm surprised you ain't dancing on that counter. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss. I'm surprised you ain't dancing. Why aren't you dancing? You, that smile, it's close. All you do is sit back and hide with the excuses. You pull them behind scenes. You tell them to keep their mouth shut. If you can't protect them from being sued, then they should fire you. That is a poor attorney if you can't protect the people that hired you.
That's a good point.
But I'm going to tell you what's fixing to happen. Y'all going to screw around. And one of these girls, something's going to happen. And an innocent father is going to go to prison because he's going to do what every man in this building would do. You, and even you. You let a man touch your daughter, and you tell me you don't put. Tell me. Now you look at these girls. Every one of these girls. The one that it happened to. Smile while you're looking at her. Dear God, give me a reason. I am that fed up.
Brandon, that's out of order.
Smile. Don't give him what he wants. Keep smiling.
Oh, brother.
Those girls are the expense. Now everybody watching live is seeing exactly what you're doing.
Okay, thank you,
If
Brandon.
you're not for it, stand up.
Thank you, Brandon.
Stand up.
Thank you, Brandon.
They're not going to stand up.
We can't
You're
stand
a
up.
coward. Every one of you. Just
They
like I
are.
said, Melanie, this truly lets me down from the bottom of my soul. You should have stood up.
Thank you, Brandon.
You got to look at where your values and your
That's
morals
enough,
are.
Brandon. That's enough. We got
It
to
ain't
get it. We
enough.
got to go on to the
It ain't never enough.
I have to
Y'all
go to the
don't
next
do
speaker.
nothing.
Next speaker.
Y'all are out of turn, not me.
Okay, my next speaker is Mr. Bubba Hartzell.
Look.
That's sad, man.
Brandon. Okay, Bubba, are you here? Bubba Hartzell, are you here?
As another incident of a male in a female bathroom has occurred, it is past time for Cabarrus County Schools and this board to take action. With House Bill 805, President Trump's executive order, a policy can now be made that students can use the bathroom and locker room that is assigned to their biological sex. For the record, sex defined by the state is assigned at birth, based on their biology. I call on this board as a parent myself to take action, no matter what the board attorney or the superintendent says. Board members, please remember, you work for the people, and the people want a motion made. Thank you.
All right, so I am coming to you as a person who has sat on that board and has experienced the same thing. I want to remind you that any individual board member, I'm not sure why y'all don't know this. I know you go to board school for the first couple of months. Any individual board member can bring a motion before this board. You got people asking you to do that. They want you to say, hey, I, board member A, put this up for a vote. And y'all vote on it. Let's see where you stand. I do think there are a few things that are right that I've heard thus far. One being that, everybody just wants their kids to be safe. Folks don't want boys in the girls' bathroom. In the literal sense, I get that. But I will tell you from where I sit in the mental health world, those kids, they struggle, just like all kids. Do it. Bring a vote tonight. Let's see you do that. You got the power to do it. Do it tonight.
I'm watching this whole situation play out, and honestly, I keep asking myself, since when did basic common decency, ladies and gentlemen, became something that we just ignore? Yeah, that's where I'm stuck, to be honest. Because what I'm seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, isn't complicated at all. It's not something deep, a confusing issue about something that we cannot figure out, I mean, it's simple. It's about boundaries. It's about respect. It's about the most important thing, folks. And it's protecting the little kids. And yet somehow the people in charge, they're acting like none of that matters.
She was in the locker room changing when she noticed him watching her and the other girls dress and undress. She stated that this made her feel extremely uncomfortable and that she did not feel safe or respected in that environment. She then reported the situation to her coach and the athletic director, who then directed her to speak about this issue with the principal. When she then brought the concern about her safety and uncomfortability to him, he stated that the matter was too political to address and that any action might be interpreted the wrong way.
So this is happening at Cabarrus County School in North Carolina. God bless this young lady for her courage.
Are you speaking?
So this was in
Welcome,
December.
Better.
Hi, my name is Tristan. I'm a junior at Cox Mill High School. At Cox Mill, there is a biological male who dresses and acts like a female who is on the football and basketball cheer team. That is not the issue. The issue is whenever he dresses and undresses in the women's locker room and uses the women's restroom. Parents and students have discussed this with our admin and athletic director at Cox Mill, and they have blatantly ignored our concerns. I also know of one email being sent to the superintendent as well. The school administration instead offered to accommodate us females instead of accommodating him. A reply that my friend received from our principal after expressing her concerns reads as follows. The court has decided that there isn't anything we can do, and if he wants to be there, he can. And if it was her who was uncomfortable, then she can go somewhere else. Many of my peers and I feel uncomfortable using facilities designed for women and women alone, as he has different reproductive parts than we do. Another peer of mine who is on a sports team stated that during scheduled spring workouts for her sport, she was in the locker room changing when she noticed him watching her and the other girls dress and undress. She stated that this made her feel extremely uncomfortable and that she did not feel safe or respected in that environment. She then reported the situation to her coach and the athletic director, who then directed her to speak about this issue with the principal. When she then brought the concern about her safety and uncomfortability to him, he stated that the matter was too political to address and that any action might be interpreted the wrong way. Our school is supposed to make every student safe, but we get ostracized when we discuss this with adults who are supposed to ensure the safety and comfortability at school. Personally, I try to avoid the restrooms at all costs, but I do use these facilities at times when I really have to. I, as well as others, do not feel comfortable when an individual of the opposite gender is allowed and authorized to use our facilities. Tonight, I am asking the school board what they plan to ensure the comfortability and privacy of my fellow students and I during the bathroom and locker room changes. Thank you for your time and open-mindedness.
And you are speaking for a group?
As I mentioned, my name is Alexis Hughes, and I'm a parent to 3 children. I'm here tonight because this board has left this community no option but to show up. This is not about hate or about judging any child. And this is not about asking the board to take a position on personal beliefs or ideology. This is asking you to be brave. Months ago, a female student sat in one of these seats and did something most adults are too afraid to do. She walked to this microphone and described a boy who identifies as a girl watching her and other girls undress in a locker room. She told you how uncomfortable it made her feel, and she told you how uncomfortable it made her classmates feel. Her coaches and principals said it was too political. She came to you all for help. You heard her. You did nothing. Shame. And here we are months later with no policy, no guidance, and no consistency from any of you. Every school handling it differently based on if a principal has enough guts to stand up for females or not. That is not leadership. There is nothing political about a child that feels unsafe when they are changing clothes. That is a basic expectation of privacy, and it is all of your responsibility. In January, I emailed every member of this board outlining the legal implications of your inaction. 2 responded. The rest chose silence. That silence is now on record. Now let's talk about facts. Our schools serve over 35,000 students. According to the UCLA Williams Institute, approximately 300,000 youth, 13 to 17, identify as transgender. Applying that locally, that would be roughly 490 students that are transgender out of 35. It is very likely fewer here, and you all know it. Those children do matter, and they deserve dignity and protection, but leadership requires balance. It is not reasonable nor balanced to require the remaining students, 34,510, to give up their expectation of privacy in spaces that are by definition intimate, nor is it feasible to accommodate 34,000 students with singular user facilities. Why are you putting the burden on them? What are you going to do? The data is clear, the law is clear, and at this point you all have to stand on the right side of history. Doing nothing is not a decision, it is a risk. Title IX lawsuits work both ways. If it was my daughter, you would all be sued.
Even the attitude that is coming from the people who are supposed to be responsible, these administrators and teachers. Because I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking, why are you even there if you're not going to listen? I mean, if you're not going to act, if you're not even going to acknowledge the problem, why are you there? Because it feels like they've already made up their minds. And no matter what parents say or whatever they're going to present to them, no matter how people speak, it just goes in one ear and leaves out the other. That's not leadership, ladies and gentlemen. That is not even accountability, folks. Yeah, that's the truth. You know, that's people who are sitting there in positions of power and doing absolutely nothing with it. Can you imagine? And you have the parents who are standing up, speaking clearly, calmly, you know, making very reasonable points, to be honest. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what exactly did they say, these parents, that was wrong? Nothing. Is it not even a single thing? They are not even being extreme. They are not being hateful at all. They are simply saying, I don't want my daughter in a situation that makes her uncomfortable. That's it. That's the whole argument. And somehow, that is being treated like it's controversial. Can you imagine how insane that is, folks? Because I'm looking at the bigger picture here. And it's starting to feel like this isn't even about the kids anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's as if the conversation is about something completely different, folks. I mean, if students, let's say it's the safety of students, if it was the priority, there wouldn't be all this hesitation, right? All this political dancing around the issue. Yeah, you would be, there'll be clear decisions, clear policies, clear commitment to protecting every single kid involved. But that's not what I'm saying, unfortunately. Because what I'm seeing is a system that's more worried about agendas, other than the actual safety. And when people start losing trust, ladies and gentlemen, in a system, they're going to look for other options. Don't blame them when they do, because that is just the reality. If parents feel like their concerns, they are being ignored, if they feel like their kids, they aren't protected, they're not just going to sit around and accept it. They're going to pull the kids out. They're going to look for other options, homeschooling, for instance. They're going to take matters into their own hands. And I don't blame them, to be honest. Because, ladies and gentlemen, no institution is more important than your child. People, they're not just ignored, annoyed. They are fed up. I get it, because it's one thing to disagree, right? And it's another thing entirely to feel like you are being ignored completely. When there is no response, no action, no accountability, that frustration turns into something bigger. It turns into people demanding real consequences. And you shouldn't blame them. People need actual actions, whether that's legal action, replacing the leadership, or completely changing the whole system. You see? And here's even the part that is actually bothering, ladies and gentlemen. This shouldn't even be political. It shouldn't. We are talking about kids here. Come on, folks. We're talking about safety. We're talking about privacy. We're talking about basic dignity. How hard is that? Because those things, they used to be that stuff that everybody else agreed on, whether Democrat or Republican, left or right. No matter where you stood politically, it didn't matter. But now, somehow, even those little things, simple basic things, have turned into a battleground. Can you imagine? And I think that's a huge problem, because the moment you turn something like this into politics, you stop focusing on the actual matters, you see. And I can't even ignore the double standards, ladies and gentlemen. That keeps popping up, to be honest. When the situation, just think about when the situation is reversed, for instance, suddenly people will care. I mean, think if it's those groups, other groups, those ones, if they're the ones who are presenting their cases here, there would be quick actions. So it's a double standard. Inconsistencies, those inconsistencies, they make everything worse, ladies and gentlemen, because it shows this isn't being handled fairly across the board. Because if you're going to set standards, it has to apply equally. Otherwise, people, they're going to lose trust faster. Yeah, because, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached a point where common sense feels like it's being pushed out of the room. Can you imagine? You know, the kind of basic understanding that used to guide decisions. What's appropriate, what's respectful, what keeps people comfortable. But all that stuff is being treated like it doesn't matter at all. And I don't buy that, ladies and gentlemen. I think most normal people, they still understand where the line is. The problem actually is the people they're making decisions acting like that line doesn't exist anymore. But that's not truthful. And I think there's a failure to think about the long term also here. Decisions like this, folks, they don't just affect one moment. They shape the environment where kids grow up in. You see, if you create a space where discomfort is ignored and concerns are dismissed, that's going to become a standard. And once that standard is set, it's going to be very hard to walk back from or to change it. So the idea that this is not a big deal, that is just a small issue, it's not true, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, these are the kinds of decisions that have ripple effects, folks. And I think people, they're just tired of feeling like their voices, they don't matter, especially the parents. Not everyone is looking for a fight, folks. Not everyone is trying to make headlines or to go viral. Most people, they just want to live their quiet lives. But all they ask for is to be heard, to know that their concerns, they're being taken seriously. And when that doesn't happen, obviously it's going to create a disconnect between the parents and the institutions that are supposed to serve them. You see? And that disconnect is exactly what we are witnessing right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and I look at all of this together. It's not just one issue, like I said. It's actually a pattern, folks. A pattern of ignoring concerns, avoiding responsibility, pushing forward without real accountability. And until that changes, folks, these kind of situations, they will keep happening again and again and again and again. Sadly. Folks, if you enjoyed this one, click on the next and don't forget to share this and subscribe to the channel.